episode of the Through the Chicane podcast. It's your boy Jonathan. I got my boy Craig here. Today we're going to be talking about testing and expectations for teams. So there's a lot that's been going on with, leading up. We've got 10 days until like the first race of the season. So pre-test is wrapping up. And so, with the new season Drive to Survive that's also out, there's a lot to think about when it comes to, what are some expectations for, that's everybody that's involved. So I don't know what you kind of have as a to start us out, Craig, but why don't you throw us into it? So I know, like I said, there's a lot going on with expectations, and so give us a little bit of a rundown.
So I did basically watch all days of testing. I woke up at 2:00, and I basically watched not the whole thing because it was boring. It was testing. They were running laps, but apart from and I'm watching through F1 TV. Apart from broadcast and shenanigans, which I like.
Yeah.
Not much exciting happened. There were McLaren, Williams. Those are the two that stick out for me, of teams that kind of sat in the garage the whole time.
Yeah.
And, or not even gonna say sat in the garage the whole time, but kind of were missing out on laps and stuff like that. So there was those guys. Wow,
yeah.
the mic was all the way over there. I'm sorry.
Oh, there we go. You're a lot more clear. There we go.
I was so asleep. I'm just
wake up. Come on, baby.
I'm just looking at what I was like. Wait, let me wrap back around. But yeah, so McLaren and Williams were the only two teams that kind of everyone noticed were in the garage longer than most other teams. You know what I'm saying? Everybody would go in the garage and they were in there for time to make changes for their car. But as far as those two, they were very low in laps, multiple days. So that's the only thing that stuck out. So that's an expectation to watch early on to kind of see if they'll have issues going on.
It's almost like be good or bad.
Right.
So it's funny, watching the new season of Drive to Survive that recently came out, the episodes that focused on McLaren. I mean, Zach Brown sounds super, super positive. I mean, reading what happened with testing with them, even though they sat in the garage for a little bit, they're saying that cars performed as predicted. So, it seems like from what Zach Brown has been commenting on, it's a good foundation for them to develop their car, to develop, a better, or at least more of a rise up into the, top 3 or top 5.
Right.
And so it's okay. And part of me thinks that they're going to be really, really battling for the constructors. I mean, you have Red Bull, Mercedes, and Ferrari, but out of the ones that are kind of towards the bottom of the podium, right, I think McLaren will be one of the teams that actually has a more consistent performance.
Without a doubt.
Because with the driver lineup that they have, and Norris is, fantastic. So he had a great run last season.
Yeah.
So from what it seems like, I think they're going to be one of the teams that stands out. So 100%. We'll see.
I did make a mistake. I don't know if it was the last episode or the first episode. I thought Oscar Piastri was older. I think I got him and Nick DeVries mixed up. Yeah, he's turning 23 in April.
Dang, bro, that's my age, man. I'm 23. Get out of here.
Yeah.
Be on the grid, man. Come on.
I was watching DTS and they were like, 21-year-old. I was like, who in the world was older than? And it was Nick DeVries, who I never really paid attention to the age. I just remember there was rookies that were 27.
Yeah. Because you have him, you have Logan Sargent.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't say he's a rookie, but first year in F1, first 2 years.
Right.
So you're fresh on the field.
But I also say as far as the transition and talking about teams who said they had a good platform or a good foundation for this season.
Mm-hmm.
Mercedes engineers, they were talking, happy to have a big foundation type deal.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
I mean, it's weird to be happy because it's just they're basically 2 years behind at this point.
Yeah. I saw that Hamilton kind of spoke up and said, the car is not where he wants it to be. It may be with the engineers and whatnot, what they expected, but maybe not what he expected. And, as a team, I feel like you kind of have to be on the same page when it comes to, all right, here's how the car is going to perform. But, in the Drive to Survive episode that kind of focused on Mercedes, from what Hamilton said, he kind of had to just sit back and, let them do their thing. Even though he's been in the team for a very long time,
10
sometimes
plus.
you can't make every decision.
Right.
And
Yeah,
so
that was a good episode, honestly.
And so, we'll see. I'm hopeful, regardless of, with the last 2 years, them kind of being in the lower tiers.
I think
this will be a good redemptive season.
I think this will be the first year in the last 2 years that they actually start off with a car that they want.
Mm-hmm.
I think with Lewis, I think he's just more of a like he knows they're going to be years behind because they didn't listen to him when he said no, this is a bad idea, or he just wasn't with the car and stuff like that. And and from what the episode sounded like was he was kind of the only person who was against it.
Yeah,
you probably had a lot of people who were there for work. And then
they let him know that he was like, all right, you're right.
Yeah.
It's almost like you saw it coming.
Yeah, exactly. And I think it was the porpoising that kind of wanted him to change direction, because I think he knew it came from a different way. And before I kind of get off Mercedes, because for me personally, it's just like I just want to see Lewis do good this year. Like I really,
me too.
Yeah,
last year with Mercedes.
Yeah, it's last year with Mercedes, and it's just like after 2 years, now we finally have a decent car that you could have built off of if you built it 2 years ago. So it's just like it's like weird, but they also did have another suspension trick due to the rules or whatever. It dealt with the anti-dive, so basically in the front they could move the suspension. They could kind of change the angle from like this to like that.
Yeah,
it's nice. It's not it's not DOS, but it's like cool to it's similar to that, or that feel like, all right, we could change the suspension, maybe we could do more with the game. I mean with the changes. Yeah,
I mean, I think this is a good opportunity for them to advance. I mean, like you said, and like we know, Hamilton's got one more year left with Mercedes. So I think he will take that opportunity.
Right.
So, and I wouldn't be opposed to that. So,
exactly.
It was weird as a Red Bull fan seeing Mercedes kind of just drop off for the last 2 years. I like to see that old school rivalry come back,
Yeah,
so,
it was so self-inflicted. I don't think nobody really feels sorry for Mercedes.
I mean, part of me does, but part of me doesn't. You have your respect, but it's fun to see somebody else win from time to time.
Yeah, no, I'm not even saying like the dominance of it. It's just like the clear everybody outside the building saying change the car.
Yeah,
you change it. Now we kind of come into this year like it's like, oh, we got 2 great innovations on the car. We feeling good or whatever. Did you see the winglet?
I didn't. I don't think I did.
All right. So yeah, I'll probably send you a picture of it. But they did basically right where the nose is at. You know how basically like the wings connect at the nose and they go straight across?
Yep.
They kind of took the first section. So say like this is where they connect across the nose. Yep. They kind of took that and like kind of opened it. Yeah. It's actually cool. And they basically made it a wire connection. Because it's supposed to be connected across.
Like increase their speed just a little bit?
It's supposed to create this old effect that they had with the other cars, the other generation of cars. But like I said, it's 2 years behind. They had like the innovations that they made. They had to make up 2 years for it.
Yeah,
and then now they have to, and they don't have data for this specific car. So it's just like now they kind of have to
blind,
right? Because the last 2 years they had 2 different cars. So yeah, that's why it's like, dang, like you could have had this car 2 years ago. Say like if this car came out 2 years ago with testing,
it would have been.
Yeah, everybody would have been like, okay, Mercedes came out. You know what I'm saying? It would have been.
Oh yeah.
It would have been way better. But just to get off Mercedes, because that's basically only what they did. Red Bull looks like a lovely beast. The car looks lovely. From what I see, they took the W14 and the old Ferrari scoops and kind of basically matched them together. The design of the car was
baby.
Yeah, basically, and it was like. And all the memes from like months ago on my like YouTube shorts, were like the Adrian Newey memes, and it was like literally from like 8 months ago. It was like, oh, Adrian Newey, I could fix that. Sam from Holes, like Adrian Newey looking at the W14.
Oh yeah,
It was one of those memes. I loved it so much. It was funny.
Yeah.
These were just like when it was making a joke, like, "Oh, I could fix that," and he really fixed it.
I mean, hey,
Yeah, the design of the car was lovely. Apparently,
what Max is saying.
So. Yeah, I mean, yeah, you go ahead and say what you gotta say, but I like looking at it. If they dominate this year with that car, I'm not going to be mad or
not surprised.
It looks so beautiful, bro.
It looks different, like a little bit. Like if you put them side by side, it's like, okay, interesting. It looks a little bit, I won't say fatter.
It's like longer.
It's yeah.
It's like somebody went to the gym and did shoulder shrugs with the car.
Yeah, no, literally, that's literally what it is.
That's
so it's like interesting. Okay. And I think, from what Max said, I want to say it was either yesterday or a couple of days ago, the car gives me does what I want. And so, I think part of me says it depends on who's driving the car, and we've seen Max performance. It's like, okay, I'd be interested to see if somebody else hopped in that car, how would things go? You've got Perez's contract ending in 2025. So who's going to take that seat in the RB, the next Red Bull?
Yeah. No, after watching Drive to Survive, I think that gave us insight on what Red Bull wants. I think they want Daniel Ricciardo in that seat. I think they're honestly done with Checo. I think they're using this year. Huh?
It is unfortunate because I love Checo so much.
I do, but I just don't think he could have. Like, he just can't get grips with the car. I think that's really all it is.
Yeah.
But so I think they really just want Daniel to be in the car this year.
I wouldn't be opposed to that.
No, I'm not saying like move him if Checo starts driving bad. I'm thinking more like having Daniel in the RB car. They want. We're just gonna call him the RB. That's what they came across during the show. They was like, RB. So I think they want him just so next year he'll like already be, used to driving again. And if they do let Checo go, they already have Liam Lawson as a backup. But I think more because watching Drive to Survive, they were conflicted.
Dude, but Liam Lawson crushed it.
He did.
Liam Lawson crushed it.
He did. I love that episode. Like,
I'm excited to see him develop.
And give him a year, 2 years. Shout out to AlphaTauri though. They had 2 episodes. Both were good.
Oh my gosh, dude. And so like that means it's like the Red Bull and AlphaTauri relationship. It's all very interesting, and to see like, okay, with like you just said about Danny Rick, I wouldn't be surprised once Checo leaves, they take him from AlphaTauri and put him in Red Bull, because they have that relationship, and he's been in Red Bull before. He won a couple championships. Hey, let's do it again.
Right.
He's a little older. He's 34, but then again, you look at guys like Alonso, who 41, 42, oldest guy in the grid, and still crushing it.
No, I don't see that swap happening though. I don't see like Checo.
You don't?
No, I don't see him taking a step down or anything like that. Because I think that rule only applies to Red Bull drivers, which is why you know what I'm saying? Like, he's not a Red Bull driver. He's just driving for Red Bull.
Right.
So I think that's why. And 2, like, what that would do to him personally to kind of fall off in that sense. Mm-hmm. And like I said, as the fans, we know Liam Lawson is there. We see through Drive to Survive, he felt like he should have had the seat over Yuki, which I don't. I think him, just talking up himself and not disrespecting Yuki like Nick did. I think it is good, and I do want to see him in F1. But like him, like he felt like the seat was his. I'm like, no, bro, because Yuki been there already. Just to throw you in this year with Danny Rick is just them starting all over for no reason. Because it wasn't really that much of a difference when you watched them race, apart from like, I think Yuki just had some mistakes, but I don't think it was to the point where it's like Liam was obviously the better driver.
Part of me would say the opposite. I mean, I don't know if this is manufactured drama against Yuki, but all I can remember watching Drive to Survive and Yuki and all that stuff, it's nothing but either 100% aggression and screwing up,
Mm-hmm.
or because I don't there were maybe one or two shining moments that I could remember across that series, but with this episode, all I highlighted were his mistakes.
Well, no, that was how it was. I remember because I watched the season. Oh, I forgot you ain't watched the season last year. But like, if you watched the races, like they did kind of dramatize
It did. And
the
so it's like you
they
can't really trust
dramatized
it, right?
they dramatized Liam and Yuki versus Nick and Yuki because Yuki was clearly smacking Nick the whole time.
Oh yeah, dude.
I felt like Liam, like watching the races, I do feel like him and Yuki were closer together, and the show kind of showed a separation. But nah, like Yuki, they were actually closer. Like there was just like what was it, the Singapore race?
Mm-hmm.
Nick just oh no, not Nick. Liam, he just that wasn't a car. I mean, that wasn't a track fit for the Red Bull car. And I just think I do think Liam did pull out a great lap, but I think they all went in there not really caring about that. Like everybody knew Red Bull kind of it was just the problem with Singapore was that the car couldn't pick up pace like it usually does. Because you got to think the Red Bull is straight line speed. That was his bread and butter. But Singapore, you're turning every 2-3 seconds. Even if you play in a game, it's annoying because it's just like, all right, driving, turn. There's only 2 straights now, straights now on Singapore, and it's still not enough for the Red Bull.
Exactly.
So, like I think the show kind of dramatized that because I was like, it wasn't really that bad that they tried to make.
Definitely wasn't my favorite season out of all of them. I'll say that.
I'm happy because we got a nice episode where Lewis is actually prominent out of all the.
This is true.
Out of all the seasons, this was like the most Lewis is like. I don't know if he just hated the cameras or like he just like he finally had something to say or show.
Yeah,
which is also good because it was that Ferrari rumor, but I don't think it was really starting.
It's like, oh, this aged well.
It started during Monaco, but yeah, that's what I'm saying. It aged well because I don't think he was like planning a dip from Mercedes this whole time. But I think it's just more so.
It's like that one scene. It's like you can be here for 20 more years. I can't.
Yeah, I mean, that's the life of an executive. They can sit there, ruin a business. I'm not saying Toto's ruin a business, but they could. They got the control of that company. Lewis is
there forever.
Lewis is an employee. Like Lewis is an employee. Like he could get fired.
And also, it's like you got to build your resume, right?
Right.
So,
and I do think. Wait, go ahead.
It's just the average age. It's like I don't think he's got more than maybe 5 years left, max probably 2 or 3. So, it's why not take a chance with another team, right?
And
so
it's great.
I think it's great. So
yeah,
they created the sport, right?
Yeah, it's like playing for
why not?
Cowboys, the Lakers, Celtics. You know what I'm saying? It has that prestige. If the opportunity's there, which I think the reason why Lewis took it was because obviously I'm a stand on Fred is the main reason he went. Two,
you love Fred, bro.
Everyone loves Fred.
Everybody loves Fred.
And two, like the rumors of Carlos leaving, and it's just like I do think he's going to be that top choice for Audi because of the relationship that they have with his dad. I do think that's, you know what I'm saying.
So, you can't really see him anywhere else, right? I tried the other day. It's like, who could he go to? I'm like, not really anybody else, but so it's
like
tough.
Yeah, it's like Carlos is going to go to what is it? He's going to go to Audi. Like I just felt like he's not going to not take that opportunity to be the number 1 driver of a new team.
Dude, freaking take a chance. Come on.
Is that and Lewis is like he's not getting any older, and now he has the opportunity to go to Ferrari, which he said he would be open to. I think the previous team principals and owners probably didn't really kind of offer extend. I don't know, but I do know this new regime with this new CEO and Fred Vasseur being there, they have been very adamant. Like, we want Lewis Hamilton to drive a Ferrari. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, oh yeah, dude.
Like it seems like Ferrari as a team and as a company would want Lewis now versus the previous owners. So,
and to tie on to that, from what it seems with testing with Ferrari, tire degradation is not a problem. So I think
it is not.
So,
and that was that's another thing with testing is like I said, apart from the 2 teams, McLaren and Williams being in the garage the whole time, or like having extended times in the garage. Nobody really broke down like during practice that caused a red flag. A drain did pop up, but it was more like the side drain where the water goes in, I think.
Yeah. It wasn't the manhole cover like Vegas.
Yeah, no. But it was one of those weird traumatizing moments. Like, oh, now drains are going to pop up on all the surface now, just for no reason.
Going to give everybody PTSD on the track. It's like, oh frick, when's it going to happen?
Wait, what was that? What's that on the track? A drainage?
Freak out!
No, it's a bird.
Man. Yeah, dude.
Yeah, but
that happens more often. I'm gonna be like freaking pissed, bro. Come on.
Like karma is crazy.
Thanks. Oh,
yeah, but yeah, it wasn't really too much, craziness as far as testing goes.
Yeah. It's
I feel like the what is it? The commentators on F1 TV kept it interesting, but
yeah. I mean, it's like, all right, that's part of the reason why I watch it. So.
They made it fun and interesting.
I will say, I gotta shout this out. Will Buxton's comment on Haas: "Knife to a gunfight. They're bringing a spoon."
They're bringing a spoon.
I've seen more memes from a one-liner from a docu-series ever, and the comment, man, it's hilarious. Like.
That's the first time people was like, "Oh, Will Buxton finally said something quotable."
It's always like, the obvious. But he's like, this dude, freaking, he didn't just roast him. He buried him in the ground, bro. Like,
right. And I don't like how they get on him. Like, he's not the one editing it. He probably, because they ask him questions and they're just like, oh, yeah, like, this is how, he's probably explaining something, but they probably taking the most basic thing.
Oh, yeah.
To give it to people. I'm like, no, why y'all be hating on Will Buxton? And everybody's complaining about, like,
don't, hate the driver, hate Haas, man. It's like, that's their problem.
They're bringing a spoon.
Bringing a spoon to the gunfight, man.
He said it with so much disgust.
It was so bad. It's like, man,
it's like, why
deserve that? But at the same point, hey, sometimes it just sucks to suck.
Right.
So,
bringing a spoon.
Bringing a spoon, man. Literally.
Yeah, and but no, also Sauber looks good with the green and fluorescent.
From what Bottas was saying, because it's like, new car, completely new car has been developed. Things have improved. They seem like there's like, from what it's looking at statistic, 50% better than last year. And so says they've stepped up. So we'll see. I'm excited.
It's a Red Bull replicate.
Yeah,
that's really what it is. I mean, I'm not mad about it, but I think they just went with this look because they're focusing on 2026 with Audi.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think Sauber is just kind of existing right now, not in a negative sense.
We're in the development.
I do think they want to be. Yeah, I think they do want to like be competitive, and I think last year with the new team principal come in, I think he just did not care. About like the previous car, because like I said, we have to acknowledge when a new principal comes in, the first half of the season is last year.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of basically what it was, and I think all the upgrades or whatever improvements they made to the car last year was just like, hey, let's see what we can do.
What happens, right? Yeah.
Right. So I'll say Sauber should be more competitive. They should be better than Alpine. Huh?
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. So I think the only team that they said who fell on it flat on their face was Alpine.
Yeah.
But like I said, that's still last year's. They did say top engineers are leaving, but who knows if that's just hiring or they're actually leaving. We'll have to wait and see.
Yeah.
But we'll have to wait and see once upgrades come. So Alpine is apparently in the first half category. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah.
First half category as well.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It's interesting because you read the general headlines, everybody seems optimistic regardless of, it's things are positive, but work is to be done. It's like the general consensus.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty much everybody except for the couple outliers like Red Bull and a little bit with Mercedes, but kind of everybody naturally says, all right, it's great, drivers are optimistic, everybody's optimistic, but obviously challenges. So with Alpine, from what it seems like, drivers are confident. So, and watching the driver survive, it's like, all right, here's what's been developed, let's get it on. So I think it'll take a minute for them to build their way up, but probably half a season.
Yeah. So, like I feel like there's 2 or 3 teams that are in that half a season category.
Yeah, it's like Alpine, and then maybe like AlphaTauri, and then maybe Williams in there. It's like the
Yeah.
3 or 4 that are in the kind of similar same boat. So, or on
Right.
the same track, no pun intended.
I do think Danny Rick will pull out some big laps and big races with that RB though.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Because he was topping the timesheets a couple of times.
Mhm.
I don't think they were pushing, but I don't think they were trying to make a statement like, "Oh, we got a fast car."
Yeah.
I think after a while in testing, they was just like, "Let's see what we can do now."
Oh, yeah.
That we kind of did our long runs, or you know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah. Yep.
And I think the reason why a lot of teams are confident is because there were no new changes to the regulations, so everybody kind of knew like, okay,
everybody's now happy-go-lucky.
Or the F1 person who's designing the cars and the regulations,
like the director of ops or something.
Yeah, he basically said, they're starting to focus on the 2026, changes and changes of regulation. So I think this year, next year, we're going to get some very good racing because the regulations. I mean, not the regulations. Well, yeah, the regulations.
A little bit more lenient, right?
Yeah, they're not. Yeah, they said they'll make more adjustments rather than changes. If that makes sense, kind of fine tune stuff.
Yep. So it not completely slam everybody down with new laws and it's like do's and don'ts. It's like, all right, we're going to keep it, but we're going to go like a little bit more, make a little bit of tweaks here and there, but not crush everybody and, make a repeat of 2021.
I think that's what it is. And I think Red Bull has run away with the regulations so far. It's like, why even try to change anything?
Yeah.
Because I think this regulation was like a short span. Like I think it's 22, 23, 24, 25. Yeah. So only 4 years. Yeah. I think most regulations are 5, 6 years, but
is it okay?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
Because they'll make like changes like the last era of cars, the V6 era. Those were kind of the same era of cars, but you could tell it was an evolution.
Yeah.
Of the past generation, if that makes sense.
Yep.
But these were like all new cars, shapes, designs, and stuff. And that's what I meant. So these are kind of like the most. That's the best way to put it to where my hands are at. It's kind of the most short range of regulations that we're having. They're like, we're not really going to change it. Yep. 2026 is around the corner.
Because also, I think like they don't want to go too far and like have it bite themselves in the butt, right? So even though it's like, all right, we're the FIA, we don't want to kill ourselves. So because we saw
that's not the
from the last couple of years. It's like
that's Formula One. That's not the FIA.
Yeah,
the FIA make the the rules for them, but the Formula One kind of designs the generations and the concepts of the cars. But yeah,
me not being smart.
So yeah, I think that's really what it is. Oh yeah, and also they kind of been getting into it with the FIA, so I think that's another reason why they probably don't want to make changes either. That's a whole different
another level.
That's a what is it? That's a rabbit hole that none of our
business. Discussion table for a later time, as people say it.
Yeah. So we got 3 minutes before or 2 minutes before we hit 30. Is there any?
Dude, I got
other topics.
We talked about a lot.
Yeah.
I will say, I guess to wrap things up, I'm excited to see how things go. We've got, what is it, February 29th, and it is the 25th. So about a week. In Bahrain, it's such a fun race to watch. I love like starting things off with a night race.
I love Bahrain.
I love it.
But we are going back to Australia next year.
This is true. So
like if it's not Bahrain, it has to be Australia. Though. But I think that was more of a. I think that what they're doing with the schedule, they're kind of trying to keep everything as regional as possible. Yeah. I think that's why we're going to Australia, and that's really where we started. Yeah. Pre-COVID too.
Yeah.
So,
yep.
Yeah.
Well, dude.
I mean, if you want to go to Australia to watch Lewis, I'm also up for that.
I'm trying to make it out to a race at some point before I die. Like, I don't know where it is. Well, out of country, preferably.
That's what I'm saying. Preferably out of country.
Out of country. I was like, some way.
If I'm scratching like tickets.
Oh yeah.
If I'm trying to scalp ticket Austin,
camp out there and be like, yo.
Yeah. Like,
come on, baby.
Because that's the only American race I'll go to is Austin.
This is true. So it's for me, it's that or Miami, just with distance and such. But,
Miami, low key. I do know a couple of people in Miami, but I don't. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's like female, so I don't know. It's like, hey, I'm about to be a nerd for a week. You want to let me go to this race and stuff like? Because
let me think about it.
Like and they're the type to go out and party and stuff. I'm like, I just want to go to a race. I just want to
Keep it classy.
be over here. Like, yeah.
Keep it 100, bro.
Y'all can live your lives. I'm just here. I need a place
You
to
can have
sleep.
fun.
I just need a place to sleep. That's all.
Facts.
But
Well,
yeah,
I think
my
it's
expectations, huh?
Are we about to wrap up? What's going
Yeah,
on?
I was about to just wrap up and close it up.
All right, let's do it.
Yeah,
I've been the one to wrap us up and throw us in. So how about you close us out?
Yeah, because I watched all the practice. So as far as expectations, I think Red Bull's still gonna kind of run the table for a while. I do think Ferrari will be better and faster than Mercedes.
Mm-hmm.
I do think the top 3 or 4 teams, the big 3, and then McLaren. I think I don't know what's going on with McLaren because they can say all things are good, and then because they were in the garage for a long time is what I'm saying. So who really knows? But I do see those 4, or I do see those 4 being the top teams. I do see Mercedes, Ferrari, and McLaren fighting, depending on what track it is, for 3rd and 4th place.
Yep.
Unless Checo has another season like he had last year and gets demoted, because I do think if they throw Danny in there, he's going to kill it. But everybody else, we'll have to see what Aston Martin does. But yeah, apart from those, the top 4 teams, I'm not seeing no crazy numbers or nothing crazy happening early on this year. So
out of the ordinary.
So let's see how the first 2 or 3 races go.
Time will tell.
So do you want to do that? Just see how Bahrain and Jeddah goes.
Yeah, have a little introduction and then kind of check in with like you said, the first 2-3 races of the season. Have like a intro to the season update.
Yeah, because they're back-to-back weeks. So if you kind of just want to, if you just want to do Bahrain and Saudi and kind of collectively come back for that gap week, we can.
Let's do it.
So hold on, let me see what week that is.
Yeah.
This
I know
is,
Bahrain's the 29th through the 2nd.
And then Saudi Arabia is literally that next weekend. So
yeah, baby.
Probably about the 14th or 15th, we'll kind of collectively come back.
Yeah.
Release a video on our 2 season updates, which I prefer it kind of like that, kind of let things happen. Because Bahrain and Saudi are 2 different types of tracks. And to have those back-to-back weeks, we'll see a lot more from the teams rather than
a lot of more variety of performance.
Yeah, so I mean, we might just throw up a short little video, reaction to the races, but we're not going to have something. We're not going to have something like this until after Saudi. So we'll be back March 15th. Thank you guys so much for watching through the Chicane. I'm Carolina Craig,
and I'm Jonathan,
and we thank you guys for watching. Peace.